Unit 7, Lesson 4. This lesson is all about the secondary chords in the key of D. And there are 3 of them. One of them you're already familiar with, which is E minor. And there are 2 new ones. And I'm going to warn you that the 2 new ones are bar chords, and that's one of the hardest things for a beginner to grasp, literally and mentally. So let's start with the first one, which is F sharp minor. And what this really is, it's just like an E minor chord that we've moved up 2 frets. So if you think of the E minor as having the open strings, I'm going to move it 2 frets higher, so what's really happening here. And that becomes F sharp minor. And in order to play that chord, you have to hold down all the strings with your first finger across the 2nd fret. And that's going to be very difficult. I would give you some steps. First of all, just hold your finger down across the fret and try and get it to sound. And some tricks to doing this: make sure your thumb is on the back of the neck. Make sure your finger is as flat as possible. Don't have it like this, and don't have it bent back, but just straight as possible. Close to that fret, just like you're fretting a single note. And then you may experiment with moving up or down a bit on the strings this way, because sometimes the crease of your finger right here can cause you grief if it sits on the string wrong. So what we're trying to do is get all this. Now in practice, we only have to worry about holding down the bass string and these high 3 when we do the chord, because we're going to be fingering these 2 notes. And here's what's going to happen more than likely when you try to do this. It's going to sound like this. And that's okay. So as long as you've got your hand shape correct, I want you to just keep trying and push hard. Most students will report that this hurts. If it's hurting, that means you're developing muscle. So what's going to happen here is it's going to take a week or 2 at least for you to develop your muscle strength. So what you want to do is every day you want to try and do this. And your hand will hurt, so do it like, I don't know, as long as you can stand it. And one day you're going to go sit down and it's going to sound like this. Ah. Now, a lot of students really just want to strum this chord. And if you're strumming, you can't really tell whether it's, see right now, I kind of fool you into thinking that this sounds very much should sound like this. So definitely at first just 1 string at a time. Make sure that everything is ringing well. Here's another thing that students will be tempted to do, and I do not recommend this, is they'll try and support that first finger with their 2nd finger to get a little more strength out of it. Don't do that. Also remember to try and keep your wrist fairly flat. It's the same thing, 3 P's, position, placement, and pressure. So we want that hand position to still be good. We don't want to be doing this kind of thing. We don't want to be doing some weird thing. We want to be just good. Okay. Everything's the same for B minor, except what we're doing with this chord. It's just like an A minor chord. And again, we're going to think of it as the open strings are included and move it up, and it becomes B minor. Now in this chord, you don't have to worry about the bass string. And same issues with hand positioning and everything. The one thing I will let you know is that I'm doing something that's not really notated in any of the chord grids, but the tip of my first finger is actually killing this bass string, because we don't want this bass string to ring like this. It sounds wrong. So by just bringing our finger up against it, now I'm still not strumming that string, but if in the event that I were to accidentally hit that string, it's not going to make it sound. So that's a good habit to get into. All right, so good luck with that, and remember, just be kind to yourself and be patient. If this takes you 3 months before you can play a bar chord, that's okay. Let me recommend that you, if you're having trouble and you want to be able to play the songs, you might look at the simplified versions that I provide online at www.bestguitarmethod.com. All right, we will see you at the next lesson.